What's up, everybody? Welcome to SLC Punkcast Presents Live and Wired. We are now on episode 27. And this is the portion of the show where we talk about shows that we have attended and shows that we would like to attend and just shows that are coming up that we think you would like to attend. So that's basically what we're going to be doing right now. And I'm going to move into the portion of the show that we like to call Tales from the Pit. This is where I talk about the shows that I attended and I regale you with the tales as such. So this is Tales from the Pit, episode 17. So, the first show, I attended quite a few shows, so I have plenty of tales for you, my friends. So, there was, to start off, the 1-year anniversary show of my venue, Poseur Palace. And we were so stoked that it happened the way that it did. And it was a great turnout. There was a lot of people that showed up and had a good time. And yeah, night one was actually pretty, it was pretty stacked. We had a lot of people on the bill. The first band to come on was Finger Blasters, which was a band by Ryan and Blake from Just for the Record. It's one of their side projects that they do, and it was fun. They played a few fun covers. They were pretty fun to listen to. And then with Just for the Record, they came on and they put on the set that they always do. They always have fun, and they totally killed it with their new drummer. And yeah, there was a portion of the show where we have the mascot dildo that makes the rounds throughout the entire show, and I took Blake's hat that he was wearing, his little fedora. And then I took it to the workbench at the garage and I duct taped the dildo on top of it. So if you follow the bands or if you follow the Palace on Instagram or Facebook or anything, you see that video of him singing while there's this little droopy dick on top of his head, on top of his hat. It was so funny. It was pretty hilarious. Just for the Record was a fun time. And then and then we also had Adam and the Crack Jacks. They were a lot of fun too. Just some hyped up punk rock music. I didn't see the whole set. I was manning something else at that during their set. But what I did see was actually really fun. Then there was my roommate's band, Storm Harbor Point. They were pretty fun too. Just one of the softer bands on the bill, but they were really chill. Yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say about that. So. And then we also had the Outlaw Stiffs, our brothers from Idaho. That 3-man band. They always have a great performance, just a great big old smile on their faces, and they just love being where they're at. It's great. And then the touring band, Low Cash Ninjas, who were basically a shoe-in once we got this festival rolling. We were so stoked to have those guys. They put on a hell of a show, and I was up front just like yelling in the singer's face and just having a blast, man. It was so fun. They were a fun band. That was my first time seeing them, too. Listened to them for a long time, but never saw them. I missed them the last time that they were here when it was, I think it was 2022, 2023. I remember specifically because I made the flyer for that show. It was them, Body Rock Crew, I think, or Tree Fort, something like that. No, Tree Fort's a festival. Whatever. It was something with tree in the title. 801 Green Tree, that's what it was. 801 Green Tree. They're a hip-hop collective. And Show Me Island. That was the last time, I also think Show Me Island played, but that was definitely the last time Low Cash Ninjas were here. So I was stoked to have them on the bill. Was stoked that we were able to fit them in. And yeah, they had a great time. We all had a good time. It was just awesome. And then Del Lago began to play their set. They began to play. They got a song and a half in, and then Nikki had to come down and shut it down because we were just past noise ordinances, and the cops came a-calling. I was like, shit. And they were understandably pretty pissed off. Their singer was being a bit of a prima donna about the whole thing, and he was not in the best of spirits. I understand. I would be too, but you don't got to go insulting the proprietors of this venue. And we'll just leave it at that. But regardless of that little mess up, it was still what songs they did play were awesome. It's like, sorry, Del Lago, that we had to shut down the show. It was, we started a little later than we intended, but these things happen. And it's not like we didn't try to move. Like, there were so many bands playing that day. There was 7 of them. We wanted to move some of them over to the next day because the next day only 4 bands were scheduled to play. You know, that way we could even it out a little bit more. But every single band had at least one member in which playing on Saturday would not work out. So we just had to do it how it was. So apologies, Del Lago, but, you know, what are you going to do? But anyway, night 2 was a lot smoother. It worked out so much better. The first band that comes on is Murphy and the Giant. Murphy and the Giant, that was my first time having them play there. It was my first time seeing them that wasn't in a bar. Because they are one of those darling bar bands. They just, and they mostly play Piper Down, because they're a Celtic rock band, of course. And they play some of the bar favorites, play some Flogging Molly songs, play some Dropkick Murphy songs, or some other Irish traditionals, and that gets all the drunkards in the pub, I should say, all excited and makes them want to drink more. I get it. But this was the first time me seeing them in a garage, pretty much, and it happened to be mine. And they were so excited to just be there. They were so happy with how it sounded, and everyone was watching them. You could tell they did it all with smiles on their faces, and they were just super fun. Super fun. It's such a fun ska band. Or, not a ska band, a Celtic rock band. They have an accordion player in there. And I told him, like, so are you going to lay down some deep-fried Appalachian accordion music? And he just started going, it was so funny. I was just saying, okay, next Murphy and the Giant song, you got to write a song of that, of that style. I think it'd be funny. And it's like, well, we'll not leave it. We'll keep it on the table. There we go. So yeah, Murphy and the Giant kicked ass, and then Molotov. Holy shit, Molotov. I love those guys. They just kick so much ass when they are performing. Yeah, their lead singer, she just has this shriek that is unparalleled by any other singer in the Salt Lake punk rock scene. I have yet to hear someone who can match hers. And their guitarist, Tara, she has got so much energy. She is just like crawling around like back and forth on stage while playing her guitar, giving you this sort of death glare, just like, And then next thing you know, she's all happy and just having a good time. And she's just very extroverted that way. She's also, she and their drummer are the most extroverted folks in that band. I talk with them the most. Oh, and the other thing, the dildo was making its rounds. Again, it was on Murphy and the Giant, Low Cash Ninja, what the fuck? On Murphy and the Giant, we just stuck that dildo, they had the suction cup at the bottom, we just stuck it right on their guitarist, Jesus. They stuck it right on his guitar. And then, when it made then it went over to Tara's guitar. It's like, okay, right there, you get the dildo this time. It was so fun. It was so funny. The dildo was just making its way around, and then there was the. One thing to point out during Molotov's set is their singer. She is very soft spoken. She is so reserved. She will be like this in your face, just fucking screaming. And then when the song's over, thank you. Thank you so much. Such a mousy voice. It's so weird. Such a weird juxtaposition of it all. But hey, that's fine. That's fine. Sometimes the quiet ones are the actual crazies. Yeah. But anyway, they put on a great set, and then Satan himself comes up and does his little bit. And if you don't know, Satan himself is basically just basically the likes of Tenacious D. He's comedy folk, but he does it with like all this occultish stuff. So he wears devil horns, wears like a little sort of bodysuit, but it's cut off mid-thigh, and then he's wearing like fishnets and boots. And he starts off the show crushing a watermelon. Well, it's a watermelon that has a face on it and a wig, and he crushes it with his thighs. So it's like, okay, is that your send up to Rory Gallagher? Crushing it with your thighs instead of a sledgehammer? Well, that's fine. It's funny, I guess. And then he plays his little comedy music, and his comedy in between, like the little jokes, it's, I feel like it could be funnier if he wasn't so serious about it. Like, you can either have to go, like, the way that you're doing is, like, you're talking about Joseph getting cucked by God, because allegedly, Mary has his son. So it's saying, okay, well, go all out with that. Be, like, super extroverted and goopy. Goofy. Christ. Be a goofy groupie. Be a goofy gruber. Anyway, yeah, just be more outlandish. Or just play it super deadpan. Just be like, yes, I know that Jesus was the child of God, but Mary was married to Joseph at that time. So, I don't know. I like to think that she was double timing Joseph. Or maybe it was a swingers thing. Maybe it was swingers night and Joseph didn't know about it. Something like that. So something like that. That would be my approach. Maybe the sort of Stephen Wright or David Duchovny approach, where it's just so deadpan humor. It's talking about some of the most outlandish, ridiculous shit, but you just try and play with a straight face. Yeah, just the way that Satan himself was doing it was like, okay, it's not my brand, but whatever. He still did pretty well. Anyway, yeah, and then Wicked Temple closed that night, and Jesus Christ, they are so heavy. Oh my God, Wicked Temple is so fucking heavy. I love that band. I was so stoked that we had them on this bill. I am so happy that we managed to land Wicked Temple, one of the heaviest thrash bands in Salt Lake right now. Oh boy. Let me put it this way. When they were playing one of their songs, Scars, I lost my shit. I just fucking started full body headbanging and just was like, my head was about to meet the floor, buddy. That's how into it I was. And then me and Tara and a few other of my friends, I can't remember their names, were all interlocked like this, and we were all doing a full body synchronized headbanging with each other. It was so fucking fun. And then when that breakdown hit, I'm like, okay, here I go. If you get hit, it's your own fucking fault. Yeah, that was it was quite a time. Oh, it got me rolling. And then my friend V, he approached me after the show saying, by the way, you have a very strong back fist. Oh, thank you. I didn't feel bad about hitting him because he is the only person there who was bigger and burlier than me. So he could take it. And boy, he did. Oh, God, what a hell of a set. Anyway, that was that was the show. That was the Poseur Palace 1-year anniversary festival, which doubled as co-founder Nikki Bradham's birthday. She turned 31 on 7/11. And she almost didn't attend the show for reasons which will remain undisclosed, but she stayed, and she's quite happy that she did. She had such a good time, had such a great birthday. I could just see it in your eyes, and I was so grateful that the bands all came. They all played amazing sets. Well, for the most part, when they did play whole sets. Sorry, Delago, but yeah, what can you do? And I'm just happy that it all worked out the way that it did. Except for some yahoos that showed up in the after party and started saying some some shit that's not very, that wasn't very pleasant. But they were soon, they soon knew when to, vacate the premises. But it was a great weekend, great show. And guys, we are only halfway through. The other tale from the pit was the show that I played. I played over at Liquid Joe's on Sunday. That was the 13th. Yes, Sunday the 13th. I believe it was. Yeah. Sunday, June 13th. July 13th. I'm fucking losing my mind. It was a long weekend. What do you want from me? Yeah, so my band Apathetics, we played at Liquid Joe's. This was the first time since, I think 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. And we weren't even the Apathetics yet. It was mine and Josh's old band, Suburban Hellkill. And we played there with Kid's old band, Life Has a Way. And he's the one who put on the show for us. He's now playing in the band MPNK. And yeah, but we were playing with Hi-Fi Murder back then, when they still had their original vocalist. So a lot of time had passed. And this is my first time going to Liquid Joe's since they built out the stage. I remember that stage was so small, so confined. It was like wedged into a slant at the corner of the bar. But then they built it out and made it look like a full-fledged stage. So yeah, it was nice to be able to play on that and not worry about falling off. And we went through our set. We did it pretty well. Good. Apparently everybody heard it. Apparently everybody heard everything. Like, they didn't have to be like, turn up the guitar, turn up the bass, or blah, 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 any of that shit. But on stage, I could hear my bass too much louder than everything else. I go, I need to hear the guitar. I need to follow what Josh is doing so I know where exactly I'm landing. But it's okay. It didn't hinder our performance. And then, Pirates of the fucking Promised Land. That's what it was. Pirates of the Promised Land. Yes. Yes. That was my first time seeing them. And I like those guys. I really do. There's one of those bands that's like on the cusp of pop punk, skate punk, just about. And I was happy to see them play. They had such a bravado on stage. And they just, you could tell that they were just having so much fun. And they're just, they're kind of a goofier band. You know, they're one of those lighter skate punk bands. Like I said, on the cusp of more ska punk, more how would I describe them? Like maybe early Green Day. Or some of the softer stuff from the bands of like Swingin' Utters or No Effects or anything like that. But regardless, it was still a good set. And then the Slights took stage. They were the touring band. And they fucking put on a great set. I did have to leave a little early because I was trying to make my way to another show. But what I saw of the Slights, super fun, super fast, super heavy skate punk. And yeah, they just fucking kicked ass. I don't know how else to say it. They looked like they were having a good time. I was having a good time. But I was needed elsewhere. I hopped over from Liquid Joe's to get all the way over to Ace's High Saloon because I had to see that benefit show for Arturo to help with his legal fees. I wanted to go over there, show my support, and of course I wanted to see the bands that were on there. I wanted to see Shere Khan the most because I haven't seen them yet, and that's my friend Sid's band. But I got there when the show was wrapping up. The last band was on the stage, and that band was Fight the Future. And I like Fight the Future. I like seeing them live. Always have. They're always a great band to see. And I love all their members. I especially love Adrian. The way that he's always been a stand-up guy to me. I love him. And so I was able to catch the last part of Fight the Future's set, but I was also hoping that I could see Arturo if he was there. He was not. But at least the money that was raised for him is going to him. Going to him directly. So, Arturo, I'm really bummed I couldn't see you. I hope to see you again really soon. I miss you, buddy. So if you end up watching this, just know that I love you, bud, and I hope that everything goes well for you. It's such a bullshit time in which, well, all of us are living, but especially those who are wrongfully accused and wrongfully arrested. And so help me God, if you get wrongfully convicted, I don't think you will. But the fact that you're going through this bullshit anyway is just, it really speaks miles where we are sitting as a nation. But so help me God, we will fight. Anyway, those were my tales from the pit. It was a series from the pit. I was very busy over the course of 3 days. 3 days, 4 shows, one of which I was performing. Yeah. Try living the crazy life that I do, fellas. It's fun sometimes. It is pretty fun sometimes. So, here are some other shows that I may or may not be attending. You may or may not be attending, but I'm going to tell them to you anyway. Maybe you'll have a change of heart. On the 18th, there are a couple of shows. First off, there will be Combust, Forever War, Bounty Hunter, and Epsiody playing at Black Lung Society at 7 p.m. and that is a $20 to enter, a cool 20 note. Then also on the 18th, Midwest Lust, Ursula, Pain Chain, Shere Khan, and Ribbons will be playing at The Cellar. That is $15 and it will be starting at 6 p.m. And then on the 19th, there is a benefit show for Ruidos Fest. That will include The Never Don'ts, Sandpaper Bear Trap, SAD, S-A-D, and then Pure Stink and the Squirts. Yeah, I like to know where that Pure Stink is coming from. Maybe it is from the Squirter. Probably got caught in a Sandpaper Bear Trap. I told you, never do that. That's going to be at Oliver Rock. And that's going to be an $8 to $10 donation. Just pay what you can, but that is suggested. And it starts at 6 p.m. And then on the 20th, Cudney, Still Fighting God, Screwed, and Frick will all be playing at Kilby Court. That is $10 if you buy in advance, $12 if you buy at the door. Starts at 6 p.m. But going on during all of that, from the 18th to the 20th, is the coveted Prickfest 2025. That is a 3-day-long festival in which all the local hardcore and punk rock bands and metal bands that are available will be playing a set. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's $20 per day, $5 off if you donate an old instrument. And the doors will be opening up at 2 p.m. and the show will be starting at 4 p.m. That goes for every day. Now, who is playing this, you might add? Well, you can see on this flyer here, a lot of them. On night 1, there is Folk Hogan, Hi-Fi Murder, Cudney, Cargo Cult, Captain Daniels and the Sunnybrook Sailors, DTA, Yours Truly, Frick, Molotovin, and Drollbox. And the intermission is going to include a set from DJ Prick, which is basically just Chris playing some songs on his turntables. Then on night 2, the 19th, the bands Pine Walker, A Trader's Last Breath, Al Ghul, Deathblow, Jesus Rides a Rickshaw, Stormhaven, Disengage, Damn Dirty Vultures, Voidsman, and the Adjusters will all be playing, and the intermission will include a performance from the Lucha Project. Amateur Wrestling, who played my backyard just a couple of weeks ago. They are a lot of fun to watch. I recommend them, definitely. And then finally, on the 20th, night 3, Acid Hologram, Dethrone the Sovereign, Arsenic Addiction, Become the Void, Morbid Tabernacle Fire, Wicked Temple, Among Wolves, Trigon, Distant Lands, and Storm Harbor Point. And another performance from the Lucha Project playing during the intermission. That is a solid fucking weekend. I definitely plan on, I'm going to be there for night 1, obviously, but I definitely plan on being there on night 3 because, oh my God, I love pretty much every band on that bill. If not just to see Acid Hologram and Wicked Temple again, and Among Wolves, because I really love those guys. But we shall see where the night takes me. So anyway, that's all this upcoming weekend. R.I.P. But let's move into next week. On the 23rd, Heart Attack Man, The Dirty Nil, Carpool, and Dear Seattle will be playing at the Soundwell. That is $35 and will start at 6 p.m. And then on the 24th, Scowl, Glixen, and Mask will all be playing at the Soundwell. That is $35 and will start at 8 p.m. The Fuck Cancer Benefit Show. That is for our friend Kat Weeks, who is terminally ill with stage 4 cancer. So we are raising money for her estate. So that sucks. But we do have support from Repeller, Vape Plug, Debreeder, and Pork. That is going to be $10, and it will be starting at 6 p.m. We also have vendors. We have vendors with The vendors included will be Microwave, Trash Vomit, Graveyard Witch Accessories, Dizzy Alien Art, Roach Effects, Horror Jade Chain, Eddie Chips Nahoy. They will all be selling their wares, and basically all of the money from the door and a cut from their sales will be all donated to Kat herself to help with her medical expenses. So please do that. Anyway, that's on the 26th. But there is a lot more happening on the 26th that I urge you to check out as well. For one, Tact, Baby Girl, Mola Ram will all be playing at Johnny's on 2nd. That is a free show, and it starts at 9 p.m. And then there is Cam Girl, Shecock with a Vengeance, Captain Daniels and the Sunnybrook Sailors playing at Aces that night for $15. It starts at 8 p.m. And then then over at Black Lung Society up north, Curb, Don't Trust Anybody, and Run It Back will be playing up there. That is a $12 show, and it starts at 7 p.m. So, guys, it is a pretty loaded couple of weeks for shows to be happening. I mean, this was just in the week. This is just going up to the 26th, so that's literally up to next Saturday. So, yeah, from now to a week from now, it's gonna be another busy week, and I am for sure gonna have a lot more tales from the pit with which I can regale you. So, that being said, guys, this has been another episode of Tales from the Pit and Live and Wired, brought to you by yours truly. Once again, I am Eric, and thank you for listening to me, and I will turn this over to Dustin so he can give you some updates about tours and shows that are happening in your neck of the woods. Neck of the woods, I guess, is the better way to say it. Yeah, neck of the woods. That's the proper way. Anyway, I'll turn that over to him. Until next week, guys, I'm Eric. See you in the pit.
Thank you, Eric. And now we go around the world, as we do, in no particular order. And, of course, I'm starting off with Haywire's Flyer again, because they're still doing it. They're going all the way through August 2nd. I've been doing this for I don't know how many of these episodes, but they're still killing it, and I highly recommend you go check them out. Today, the 18th, they're in Milwaukee, Cactus Club. Then they'll be in Chicago on the 19th, 20th in Detroit, Columbus, Ohio on the 21st, 23rd, Chattanooga, Atlanta, 24. On the 25th, Winston-Salem in North Carolina, Virginia Beach on the 26th, 27th, Baltimore, Philly on the 28th, 29th in Brooklyn, Poughkeepsie on the 30th, and finally ending up in their hometown of Boston on the 2nd. So make sure you go see them. Ray Gun Cowboys in the midst of their European tour today. Could be any moment now. They're playing in Essen at Don't Panic. On the 19th, they'll be at Wild at Heart in Berlin. On the 24th, Stuttgart. Vienna on the 25th. 26th, they are in Antang Puchheim in Austria. They'll be in Czech Republic on the 27th. And then for August, they move over to the UK, and they're doing Lancaster on the 1st, Bristol on the 2nd, Compton Martin on the 3rd, York on the 5th, Blackpool because they're at Rebellion on the 7th and 8th, and then they'll be in Cardiff in Wales and wrapping up their tour on the 10th in London. Next up, Made of Ace are wrapping up I guess they've They have a break. I'm not sure why the break, but they're going back. Switzerland and Germany for a few shows, 24th, 25th, 26th, as you can see kind of on the middle to lower right column on their flyer. And then they are at Canal Rock in, I think, Netherlands, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, Rebellion Festival on the 7th. They'll be at Rebellion as well. Then, on the streets again, this is at the Monarch in Brooklyn, New York. This will be today, the 18th, and tomorrow, the 19th. You can see the start times, 2 today, 1 tomorrow. Today, the lineup is Vile Enemy, War Lovers, Intimidation, Broken Cups, Pina Maxima, Liberty and Justice, Lost Legion, Long Knife, Homefront, Giuda. It is $60 in advance, $80 at the door. Weekend pass is $100. Those might be gone at this point. So make sure you get, and they're definitely not doing any weekend passes at the door. Tomorrow on the 19th, you'll get XL Bully, No Guard, Concrete Elite, Fuerza Bruta, Bog People, No Time, Claim Choice, Crux, Annihilation Time. So many great bands for On the Streets again. 3. Then we go to Fred Zeppelin's in Ireland, somewhere I'm sure near Cork. I'm not exactly sure. Where is Fred Zeppelin's? Our pals in Easy Company are playing with Hashmaker, Rule of Nines, and then Puska, maybe, but there's a bunch of X's and such in there. Anyway, go see our pals. You can get that new record from them there and get it while they last because it is awesome. So, yeah, make sure you go check that out. And, yes, Fred Zeppelin's is in Cork. Mike McColgan and the Bomb Squad will be at the Middle East in, I think it's got to be like somewhere in Massachusetts. Not Boston, but I think somewhere else. Anyway, Mike McColgan and the Bomb Squad obviously doing Do or Die as they have been since the end of last year. They'll be performing with The Take, Bad Terms, Nick and the Adversaries. That is on the 29th. It is $30. Go to MidEastOffers.com for tickets. Then we've got Stay Rude Radio presents The Usual Suspects, Aggressive Manner, Jackknife Johnny, and Cross-Checked. All cool bands. That'll be on July 24th at Cafe Colonial. I think Cafe Colonial, I keep mentioning shows there. I want to say it's Sacramento. It's Northern California. Where is Cafe Colonial? We'll look that up. Anyway, doors are at 6:30. It's $12 in advance, 15-day of show, and you get 4 really great bands there. Yep, Sacramento. There it is. Okay, next we got the Goons. They'll be performing with Violent Society, American Television, and that is at Black Cat in D.C. $20, 8 p.m. is when that one starts. $20 to get in. 3 cool bands there, and that is Saturday the 19th tomorrow. Then back to California. Couple couple shows. I'm doing an episode of Punkanoid Worldwide's In the Vault with Tyler of No Consent, and No Consent has a couple shows. First of which is this Lakeside Slam at the Compound. That one is this weekend, July 19th, Saturday. It's in Lake Elsinore, California. And look at the lineup. Holy shit, you got Das Clown, No Consent, Since We Were Kids, VCS, 1 Square Mile, Heroes and Tools. Or no, Fools. Hard to read that font. Rare Sense, What Chuck, I think. What Would Chuck Do? So sorry, that's all one. And then the lineup here on this part of the flyer. So you can see who's playing when, so you know when to get there, which you should just go see all of the bands. Then I've got one more show, and it's also No Consent on Friday, July 25th. They'll be playing with Dayglow Abortions, an all-ages show at Fox Theater in Pomona. Doors are at 7. It's the Dayglow Abortions, the Brothels, Still Pissed, 21 Gun Salute, No Consent, and No Regard. Man, some of the fonts. Anyway, suckerpunchproductions.com is where you'll find it. Go check out a show near you. If you've got shows that we should be putting up here, I mean, we love the flyers. That's really why we do this visual component. And also big proponents of going out and seeing shows, seeing festivals as it is festival season. So if you got anything, let us know. Otherwise, this has been Live and Wired and Tales from the Pit with Eric as well. And we'll catch you on the next one.